Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ask the Answers podcast with myself, Adele and on our Halloween special featured podcast today, we have our resident psychic. We have Robert Lee joining us.
Hi, how are you?
Very well, thank you, Robert. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me on the podcast today.
No, thanks for joining us, and at a special time of the year. But is this a time that you celebrate, or is it a time where you hide under the blanket, Robert?
It's one of my favourite times of year because October as a whole is my favourite month because it's my birthday month and because it's Halloween. And I'm not hiding under the blanket because I absolutely love, well, I don't want to say I love ghosts. That sounds a bit weird, doesn't it?
I ain't afraid of no ghost. Brilliant. Now, before we go into the Halloween special, and there's so much we're going to find out about and seeing things from a psychic's perspective, but for people that maybe haven't had a chance to speak to you yet or seen you on the phone lines, I mean, shame on them if they haven't. I mean, you've been around for
Of course.
Shame on you. But tell us a little bit about yourself and, you know, what sort of work you do.
So I'm a psychic, clairvoyant, medium, and a fortune teller. And I've been working as a psychic for a long time now. It's my full-time job. I call myself a professional psychic because it is my full-time job. And I have been working here at Ask the Answer for over 3 years, possibly over 4 years. I've been working on those telephone lines and Ask the Answer, but I've been a psychic for a lot longer than that. And during that time, I've been fortunate enough to meet soap stars, aristocracy, and all different people from all around the world. My favourite thing to do is to connect to people and give them that guidance that they so need and watch people grow.
I love that. What are people's reactions when you put that down on forms, when you put full-time psychic?
People always go, is that your full... That is actually like, you know, when you're doing forms for the bank and things like that.
Yeah.
People go, is that your full-time job? That's your job?
Yeah. That is so funny. But again, this is something that you do take very seriously. You know, this is something that, you know, over the years, maybe you might have had people going, oh, whatever, or don't be silly, or it's your imagination, or that's not a real job. I mean, what would you say to people? Does that offend you?
Well, maybe 10 years ago it would have offended me, but now I'm just like, it doesn't offend me, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not bothered by it. I feel I've got a short window in my life. Yeah. I've got a short time here, so I'd rather just be around like-minded people that do believe and do want the guidance rather than trying to convert people. But you know what I mean? Like, try to convince people into believing that there's a spiritual world or a psychic world.
Absolutely. Well, I know there's going to be plenty of opportunities for people to come through and speak to you on the phone lines, but today's podcast is about October, is about Halloween, which is very exciting. So what does this month represent for you?
So this month's all about, well, apart from the fact I love the crisp autumn air, who doesn't, right? Yeah. Going out, walking, connecting with nature, the longer nights, I love longer nights. Well, when it gets darker at night, I really like that time of year. But for me, it's all about connecting to my roots. So, and my ancient roots, my ancient Celtic roots, because I'm Scottish, obviously, with my accent. And also, when you look at my name, Robert, and then Lee, the second name Lee comes from Irish heritage. So it really gives me an opportunity to connect with those ancient Celtic roots that I do have, because Halloween all stems from, I'm not saying Scottish people created it before we create an uproar, but Halloween stems from the Harvest Festival, so the celebration when people in Scotland, when the harvest ended, people had a celebration on the 31st because winter starts on the 1st. So it's all to do about celebration of that time. So I really connect with my roots during that time. And it's also a time for the veil thinning.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because I thought, you know, I'll just Google it just to say what Halloween, you know, represents and to see what, you know, the engines say. And they say that it is a boundary between the living and the dead, and it is a blurred line. What do they mean by it's blurred? You know, what are they trying to insinuate there?
So if you look at it as like a curtain, okay, so the curtain becomes thinner. So rather than like a thick curtain where you might not be able to connect, the curtain's very thin and you can connect a lot easier. So the veil thins because the two worlds are blending more.
So it's not a blackout blind. It's like one of those really like netted ones that your gran had that you can see through.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. So if you were thinking like right now we have the blackout, well I've got blackout blinds in the bedroom, but if you think of your blackout blinds like the one your gran used to have, and spirit can connect with you a lot stronger. Your spiritual ancestors connect with you a lot stronger as well. Also, the month of October brings more of an inner knowing because that veil thins. So your intuition and your dreams may seem more vivid to you.
Yeah.
That's why I always say to my clients, October's a really good time to have a reading because the veil is thinner and you are feeling a little bit more emotional. You are feeling like your gut's telling you something, but you might not know what that is. And you're wanting to really dig a little deeper.
Oh my gosh, I'm going, yes, because dreams, my signs and my messages come through my dreams, and it's not often, but when they do, they're very powerful. And I'm suffering for a little bit of toothache at the moment. And I had a dream that I was either going to get a green filling, a yellow, a green, a black, or a white. And I woke up in the morning and went, I had a dream last night that I was going to have a white, black, or a green filling, but they don't do green fillings. And then my husband went, yeah, they do. The lady that I knew, she laughed the other day and hers was green. And I was like, what? They do green fillings?
Do they?
And I was like, well, I'm not having that. I'm having a white filling. And I had that dream. And then obviously I got toothache and need to go to the dentist. And then also, literally about 2 days ago, without me even being aware of it, my dad was in my dreams. And then I sang his, not even realizing, the next day, I said, I was down making coffee and I started singing my mum and dad's song. And then my husband went, is it close to when your dad passed? And I went, oh my God, it is, yeah. And I hadn't even registered that he passed away on the 7th of October. And then I was singing that my mum and dad's song in the kitchen just randomly. I thought, why am I singing that song? And then my husband said to me, he went, is it the passing of your dad? I went, yeah, it is.
Wow.
There you go. They're near. They're near.
Signs coming through. I feel we get signs and we don't even realize. We don't always know how to recognize the signs.
Yeah.
Or we don't really like your situation. You don't realize there's signs till later on. But our loved ones are always letting us know that they're there.
Yeah.
So this is why it's important in October to maybe get that connection. And as the veil thins, we can pass those messages on from your loved ones on the spirit side, or the signs become more clearer that they are with you.
So why are we trying to scare them away with all these Halloween costumes then and pumpkins? They're coming closer and we're like, go away.
I think over the years, because like Halloween's been taken over to America. Mm-hmm. So like when people from Ireland and Scotland went over to America, they started to celebrate the Harvest Festival. Okay, and that's when actually things became a lot bigger. Mm-hmm. And that's where we get into the costumes and things like that a lot more.
Yeah, a bit more commercial.
Did you know, Adele, that before they went to America, it was turnips they used to carve out?
And why turnips?
I don't know, actually, because I think they used to grow turnips at a time. So they used to carve out turnips and then put lights into them, candles. And then when it went over to America, they changed it to pumpkins.
Pumpkins.
Which is really interesting, isn't it?
I must admit, I do like going pumpkin picking with the kids. You know, they love it. So we get it. All the designs that people do nowadays. Do you carve out your own pumpkins?
I've seen a lot of different designs online. I couldn't do anything like that, but I've seen a lot of different designs online, like Stitch and all different ones.
So clever. So, I mean, what can we do around this significant time then? What sort of things should we be doing practically that we can really benefit from?
So you want to be protecting your energy a little bit more during that time. Mm-hmm. Like maybe you want to carry around like a tiger's eye, a black obsidian crystal with you, and maybe you just want to sit and think what direction you want to go in as well. The reason I'm talking about, I'm jumping here a little bit, the reason I'm talking about protecting your energy is because you can become a little bit more sensitive as we get further into October. So it's a good time to protect your energy so that you know it's only your energy that you're picking up on and not other people's that are around about you.
Yeah.
And that's why the tiger's eye and the obsidian's good. But it's also October's a good time to think, to take stock, to think what's coming in for the final chapter of 2025 we're on, aren't we? So we've got 3 months till the end of the year. So October's a good time to take that time and think, right, what's coming in for the end of this year for me? Or what do I want to achieve? Because I started to think about my January, what do you call that? When you do the New Year's resolutions, right?
Yeah.
I started to think about them in October and go, what ones have I not achieved? I need to achieve it before the end of the
Yeah.
year.
Where's that time gone? I know, we all start panicking. Yeah, it's funny. I mentioned it the other day, actually, when I was at work. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, we're coming towards the end of the year. You know, what dreams, what goals should you set out for this year? Have we achieved them yet? If not, we need to get going. We need to keep focused.
Yeah. So probably all of mine are still on my list, if I'm going to be honest.
What were some of them? Can you share?
No.
Absolutely not. Okay, brilliant.
Well, getting healthier and being healthier and eating healthier, that's one that I've managed to achieve. I will say that is one I've managed to achieve.
There you go. And I noticed it. See, I said you're looking well.
Thank you. Thank you.
So for a psychic, is it a more powerful time for you? Is it a better connection? Do you connect more strongly around this time?
I feel I connect more strongly around this time. I think it's because it's a mindset for me as well, because I love this time of year. And I'm always naturally busier this time of year, so I'm sitting in that energy more, if that makes any sense. So I'm sitting in the energy of spirit a lot more during the summer. People are away, I'm on holiday as well during the summer. I'm taking some time back for myself. But as we step into the winter months, people are looking for more guidance naturally. So you're sitting in that power more, so the energy seems to come through a lot stronger with the readings as well. I always tell people it's the best time to connect with your loved ones on the spirit side. You get some really good messages near the end of October, because that veil is really thin, and then the messages seem much more stronger. Yeah, if that makes sense.
And even people maybe starting out, is it going to be quite, like you said, people are going to be picking up things, they're going to be more sensitive, more receptive. So for people that are maybe looking at getting into this line of work, it's going to be quite a good time, but also be careful that you are protecting yourself if you're not that experienced yet.
Yeah, it's a good time to start out. It's a good time to see where it's taking you. For a long time, I've worked on Halloween, but now I'm always, I don't call it work, but I work most Halloweens now. But for a long time, I wouldn't, because I was building my confidence, building my energy. But now I've stepped into that energy, I've stepped into that power, and it's one of my busiest nights. It's always one of my busiest nights of the year, actually. Believe it or not, October's one of my busiest months of the year. So it's really about harnessing in on your energy as time builds for the October month. So,
I mean, for you, mediumship, people wanting to get that message from a loved one. Is it something that comes very naturally to you? Is it something that has taken time to get to where you are now to bring through messages? And correct me if I'm wrong, you can't guarantee that you'll always get that person that they ask.
That's true. So it's not like a phone call. It'd be a lot easier if I just phoned up to the spirit world and goes, "Hi, I'm looking to speak to Elizabeth's mum, Margaret," for example, right? It doesn't always work like that. But what I always say to my clients is, we'll work with the spirit that we do have, okay? You might have not known them, but they know you, and then we'll bring through your other loved ones. Because what we can do is, when we go for a reading, we can quickly shut that reading down and say, no, I don't know that person. No, I don't want to hear from that person. That wasn't the person I was looking for. That actually closes the whole reading down. Because you're saying to me as a medium, oh, I don't want to speak to anybody. So your loved ones are starting to take a step back. So I always say to my clients, be open-minded. We'll work with the people we've got, and that could bring in your mum that you so desire to speak to, or your dad, whoever it is that you're really wanting to talk to. And when somebody goes through to me, I don't particularly like them to say, I want to speak to my dad that's in spirit. As a medium, I want to tell you that it's your dad that's in the spirit world, and give you all the evidence. That's how I would work with who we had first of all. And you get some fantastic messages when the client's really open, Adele, if that makes sense. If they're just like, so maybe it is your wee next door neighbour that comes in that you helped once or twice, but then boom, we can open up the floodgates to the rest of the spirit world coming in.
And is it about finding the right psychic for you, or should every psychic be able to bring through those messages?
No, so I'm a great believer in, and I've been doing my psychic work for a long time, I feel there's a psychic out there for everyone. And I know people have came to me through recommendation, and their friend would have said, it's a fantastic reading with Robert, you must go to Robert. And that friend will come, and they might have not had a fantastic experience. They might have not had a fantastic reading. And that's okay, because I wasn't the psychic for them. They needed to find maybe someone else. And that's why there's so many different psychics, mediums, clairvoyants, tarot readers, healers to choose from. Because naturally, as humans, we're not always drawn to everybody. We're not always directly drawn to everybody. Well, I know I'm not, if I'm going to be honest, and I'm a Scorpio, I'm always a bit standoffish to everybody that comes up to my direction. But then, what I would say to people is go to the psychic you feel most drawn to. It's not always on recommendations. You should go to who you feel drawn to.
I'm glad you said that, because I was having a conversation again with my husband the other day, and I said, obviously I love the psychic world and I've met so many amazing people, but sometimes I almost get a little bit embarrassed because I don't want to ask a question in case it doesn't resonate with me or it's not right, and I don't want to make them feel bad that they're not connecting with me or it doesn't make sense. And I always think, I love when you have a psychic in front of you, you want to ask them all those questions, but I'm thinking, but what? I don't want to go there, and then in my head I'm thinking, no, that doesn't. So I'm glad you said that not every psychic is going to connect or resonate with that person they're speaking to. It's finding the right one for them. I suppose like a personal trainer, you can go to a personal trainer and actually we don't get on with them. They don't do it for you. You don't connect. And then you go to another one and they're amazing. You want to see them all the time.
That's what happens. And it's okay as a professional psychic if I say to a client as well, we can't connect. That's okay. I would rather say it within the first 5 to 10 minutes and then that's it. You're not wasting your precious time, you're not wasting the client's time, they've got time to go and find someone else. That's always why I think on the phones, you've got so many more psychics, Adele, that you can connect with. So there's such a pool out there. So you should always go to, in my opinion, you should always go to the one that you're drawn to.
Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's what you're going to want to hear, because there's no point just jumping to the next one until you get to hear what you want to hear, because it's not about that.
Yeah.
It's about some details or information there's no way that they would know about you. That's when I know, okay, I can accept now the information you give me, even though it might not be what I want to hear, but because you're picking up all these other things about my life that's correct, I'm then going to take on board what you're saying.
That's true. That's the connection. You've got to make the connection. So there's all different ways. You make the connection and then you gain the trust, and then that client is going to listen to you about future endeavours that they need to know about. So it's great. I think it's fantastic how there's all different psychics out there and tarot readers and everything else in between. I think it's a good thing that there's more.
So what is it that you enjoy most? Why have you done this for such a long time? Because you're giving so much to people, but what are you actually getting back yourself?
So I love to connect with the spirit world. I love to see people's expressions and heal people, because I feel when you connect with the spirit world, that's all about part of healing, because you're healing that grief that you've already got within. You need to know your loved ones are safe. You need to know that they're watching over you. There's all different aspects of it. I love to see people leave me, or even on the phone, you can hear that they're a little lighter, a little brighter. And that's reward enough for me, to be honest. But you just feel that within their energy, and they're walking away and they can move on. They can close chapters of their life and move on to the next chapter. And because like grief, anxiety and feeling misery all kind of work hand in hand, it's just nice to see people moving on away from that. And I always feel it's good when I don't hear from my client, as silly as this sounds, but if you've not heard from my client in 6 months, it means they're growing, it means they're thriving. And then when they do come back to you, they've got some really exciting news to tell you. So I've got an example of that. I hadn't heard from my client in 3 years, and I was actually thinking about them, Adele. They came into my head, and I thought, I wonder what they're up to now. I haven't heard from them in so long. I was on I Asked the Answer, and they phoned me. And they said, "Hi, Robert, I took your advice." I couldn't remember what that advice was.
I'm not surprised about people you've spoken to. Oh, unfortunately, we've just been disconnected from Robert there. Do bear with us, and we'll try and get him back live on the podcast. But I mean, how fascinating is this? Catching up with Robert today, one of our resident psychics. If you ever do want to go through and speak to him, I'll just give you the opportunity now to write down his PIN number, because he's on Ask the Answers phone lines quite often. His PIN number is 500200. So 500200 is his PIN number. And he's been with Ask the Answer now for many years. And as he mentioned, he's been on TV shows, he's been in magazines, newspapers, he's done lots of work in the media. And we're so lucky to have him part of Ask the Answer and the phone lines and all the other things that he is involved with, part of this company. So it's lovely catching up with him today. We've got a bit of a Halloween special and finding out all about what Halloween represents, October month. He was mentioning about, having that thinner veil between the spirit world and, you know, our live being world, so to speak, how we might be picking up and sensing things a little bit more because of obviously spirit world being quite close. You might be having some dreams. I know that I've been having some dreams recently, and also just signs and symbols that come through, and you think, wow, again, bringing that spirit world closer to us. I'm feeling it. I don't know if lots of you listening might be feeling that as well, but I find it really fascinating, and what a great time to be picking up and sensing and getting that reassurance that they're around us, and not being a scary time. You know, I know we have Halloween and it's spooky and it's scary. We see the films and, you know, all the haunted, you know, houses and all that come in the movies. But again, it can be a very magical time. It can be a great time to connect with your loved ones. As Robert said, it's his busiest time on the phone lines where people want to connect, and having the longer nights where it gets darker and people are at home more and, you know, not out and about as much. So really, really nice time to be connecting with people. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, I've always wanted a message from a loved one, you know, or I've always wanted to speak to a mediumship, Robert Lee is an incredible psychic. So worth having a little chat with him, especially over this time of year, if you want to get that message from one of your loved ones. But unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to get Robert back this time, but it was lovely catching up with him. I hope whatever you're up to, you have an amazing Halloween, and I'm sure we'll get Robert back on the phone lines at some point to give us another update of what he's been experiencing and lots of more useful tips that we can put into practice over this time of year. But whatever you're up to, have lots of fun, everybody, and we will speak to you all very soon. I hope you've enjoyed today's podcast with Robert Lee, and again, his PIN number is 500200. Bye.